Hey everybody, this is Night City Gaming here, and welcome back to another tier list episode of Disney's Speedstorm. Now, it has been quite some time since I've last done one of these videos, and I've been trying to catch up with leveling up the characters that I currently have unlocked, as well as, getting used and accustomed to the other racers, so apologize for the delay, but we will be getting right back into it. Just like before in the last two videos, I'll be ranking these just based on my personal experience and just how I overall feel, depending on their stats and their overall, special ability and such. So keep that in mind. So without further ado, we'll hop right into the tier list. So we have the Inside Out characters that we're going to be starting with. I think, yeah, I did Joy in my last video, so we'll be getting into the rest of the characters from Inside Out. So we have Fear first. I definitely love him as a racer. I've grown very well accustomed to using him and also his skill sets. Especially love his ability. Definitely helpful. I'm definitely putting him in the S tier. Where I place him at, it is definitely a tough decision to make. I'm thinking in terms of ability wise, it's definitely on par with the rest that I have on my S tier list. But in terms of overall stats like speed and handling and acceleration and such, is definitely a tough call. I'm gonna go with. Oh man, it's definitely a tough one. It's definitely a tough one. I think I may. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go with ahead of Belle and Meg. Actually, I'll put Fear in front of Mulan as well. Actually, I'll put him ahead of everyone. This might come as a shock to you, but trust me, when you get this character at level 50 and you have at least maxed out crew, you'll understand why. You'll understand why. All right. So next up we have Disgust. I do I do love her unique ability. She's not too bad in terms of stats. Uh I see her currently as a B tier, but she does have potential to be an A tier. So in terms of where I place her in the B tier, I'm thinking because I try to think carefully where I place each character when I put them in this tier list, and if it's the right decision. Because Disgust, I want to place her somewhere in the middle of this B tier list, because that's, in my honest opinion, is where she's rightfully placed. But where exactly, though, is the tricky question to answer. Uh, hmm. Yeah, it's a tough one, tough one, tough one. I'm gonna put Disgust. I think I'll put Disgust ahead of Sully and Buzz Lightyear, but just behind Genie. I think that's a good spot for her. Just in terms of racing stats and her unique ability. But she definitely does have potential to be in the A tier in the near future. Alright, next up we have Anger. Uh, He's not terrible, but he's not great either. I mean, he does have potential to be in the B tier in the future. However, I'm going to place him in the C tier for now. And I honestly, I don't really know exactly where in the C tier I would place him at because it's definitely difficult because he really does have he does have a cool ability that you know is very useful, but it's like how it's used and when is the main factor. So that's what I'm trying to think on and whatnot. I'm thinking, man. See, hmm. I'm thinking she fits like ahead of Minnie Mouse, but just behind Shane. Yeah, that seems to be good. He does have potential to move up in a list, but as of right now, mid C tier for anger. Uh, Next I have anxiety. I just briefly touched on this character. I haven't gotten used to the character, let alone gotten a bit more racing time with the character to see where I would rank her, unfortunately. So I'm going to put anxiety to this list that have not unlocked or have not used yet. And just like anxiety, Ennui will be another character I will put in that list as well. All right. Next up, we have Pirates of the Caribbean characters on this list. So, Will Turner. Uh, True story, he's actually one of the first racers in my character roster that I actually leveled up to level 50 and got to Ultimate Champion. One of the first racers I've managed to do. So definitely I'm putting him in S tier. And I ooh again, these are only gonna get tougher from here on out, especially characters I've grown well known and know how to use. Oh man. Because I do have Will Turner at level 50, and I max the majority of the crew members. Oh man, this is tough. Mm. I do like his ability though, and he is really fast as well. Uh, I'm gonna put him ahead of Donald, but just behind Fear. Mostly in terms of not in terms of the stats per se, but in terms of the special ability. I think that's what separates uh, Will from Fear in terms of like who's the number one on my S tier. All right, we have Hector Barbossa up next. Definitely potential to be an S tier. I played him, and I've seen other online players play this character, and definitely a really strong character in the roster. I think one of the many strong characters. I know there are many others on this list that can compete with him. So I'm gonna place, even though I have when I play as Hector, I have him at level 30 at the moment, but I definitely see potential for him to be in the S tier. And just based on my personal experience of playing this character, definitely A tier for me, but potential to be an S tier, definitely, no question. And I'm actually gonna place him ahead of Captain Jack Sparrow. So definitely high A tier, and definitely potential to be maybe mid or high S tier. So we'll see what happens. All right, we have Tia Dalma next. I've gotten sort of used to the character. I don't think her racing stats are that bad. Her ability and whatnot, I still scratch my head as to what it's actually used for. But the only thing I've come to figure out is, once you use it, maybe depending on how many times you use it, and you have your like so-called 9 pieces of 8 get to 9, you get a racing, like a acceleration boost. That's the best I can come up with. But she's not really bad. Definitely a potential to be higher on the list, like somewhere in the A tier. But for for right now, I'm gonna place her in the B tier category, and I'm thinking of placing her. Where should I place her at? I definitely want to place her in a spot that is not gonna, clash with other racers that I have on this list, and want to place her to where it's like, yeah, that seems like a really good spot for a really good reason. Uh, man, this is tough. This is tough. I'm gonna put Tia Dalma right ahead of Buzz, but just behind Disgust. Right? I'm kind of questioning my choice placing her there, but for now, I'm gonna just stick with it. But you guys let me know down in the comments section where you would actually place her. I'm actually a bit curious about that. So next, I have Davy Jones. I love this character. I do love his ability. Definitely has potential to be high or mid A tier, depending on what level you have him at. And maybe an S tier too. I don't know. But for I currently have him at level 30, and I definitely do see high potential for Davy Jones to be A tier, possibly S. So I'm gonna place him. Oh man, stuff. I'm gonna place him in the A tier. I'm gonna place him in the A tier. Where I would, where do I place him after that? Because I already have Hector leading the A tier list. I'm very tempted to put Davy Jones in that area, but in terms of like effectiveness of using the special ability, I would favor Hector Barbossa's any day than Davy Jones. I'll actually put Davy Jones ahead of Captain Jack Sparrow, but just behind Hector Barbossa, just in terms of what I just mentioned earlier, the special ability effectiveness and like overall success. Because based on my experience, 9 out of 10 times when I had to use Hector's special ability, it worked. I mean, David Jones has worked, but it's a hit or miss, and I've unfortunately had a bit more misses than I've had hits. So that's my reasoning. All right, so next up we have Cruella De Vil. I'm gonna put her in. I haven't unlocked her, so I'm gonna put her in the have not unlocked, have not used list. But if you guys do happen to have this character, and depending on what level you have the character at, let me know where you would put her on the list. And let me know if like she's actually worthy of playing, because I'm a bit curious. All right, next up we have Maleficent. Now, here's the thing. I have this character unlocked. I've seen other online players use this before, and it literally it drives me crazy because they use her unique ability, which is very effective, mind you. It's very effective, but it's just so annoying to go up against. And I've literally had at times where I had to go up against a team of using the same exact character 3 times in a row. 3 times in a row. It was super annoying. However, I definitely see Maleficent being a top competitor in the high A tier, maybe S tier as well. I won't know. So, while I do have the character unlocked, I unfortunately have not fully gotten accustomed to the character and using her onto the race track. So I'm unfortunately gonna have to put her alongside Cruella De Vil in this have not unlocked, have not used list. Okay. We have now the Nightmare Before Christmas characters. Starting off with Jack Skellington. Jack Skellington, I do like his special ability, while it also can be a hit or miss depending on which version of his ability you use. His stats aren't really that terrible, but they're not great either. He does have potential to be like in the mid to high A tier in the future. So currently, I'm going to place him in the B tier for now. And I'm actually going to consider. I'm going to consider placing him ahead of Disgust, but just behind Genie. Alright. Next up, we have Sally. Like Jack Skellington, her racing stats aren't terrible. They can hold their own. Her special ability, I get a bit confused as to what it actually does, and I have at times had to reread what her special ability does just to get a sort of understanding. So, uh, I mean, she definitely does have potential to be an A tier racer. So currently, I'm gonna like Jack Skellington, place her in the B tier, and I'm thinking about placing her. I'm gonna place her ahead of Dalma, but just behind Disgust. All right. Next up, we have Dr. Finkelstein. I believe he was my second or no, I think he's my third racer that I had leveled up to level 50, which happened to be max at the time. But there'll be a new update with the leveling upgrade system that will be taking place in the new season. So I won't know a bit more until I actually play the game and actually take a look at the updates and whatnot. So as of right now, level 50 is max. It definitely will be changed as of April, as of when the new season starts. So I'm definitely gonna put Dr. Finkelstein in the S tier. There we go. Uh, let's see. I definitely do love his special ability though, especially where you at least use it 3 times. You can go into a super rocket share of sorts, which I think is really funny, but also kind of cool too. I kind of want to place him ahead of Donald, but just behind Will Turner. I don't know, or I might place him just behind Donald, but ahead of Mulan. Tough. I think I'll do that. I think I'll do that. I'll put Dr. Finkelstein here. Yeah, here we go. All right. Next up, we have Oogie Boogie. Um, I got mixed feelings regarding his racing stats. They're not terrible, but they're not great. And I also have sort of mixed feelings regarding his special ability because depending on what place you're at during the race, it can be hit or miss depending on how and when you use it. But I definitely do see him being up there on the list, like somewhere in the mid 8s here, in my opinion. So I'm gonna place him in the B tier for now. I think I'll place him. That's solely, but just behind Buzz. I think that's good. Okay, next up, I've got Miss Piggy from the Muppets. I don't really know much about you know I've always seen online players use this character, so I briefly understand like what her ability is and what it can do. In terms of like racing stats, that I really don't know much about. So I'm gonna put her in the I'm gonna put her in this list, the not unlocked, not used yet. And just like Miss Piggy, Rapunzel from Tangled, I only briefly seen other online players use it, and I briefly understand what her special abilities can do. So I'll again place this character, like Miss Piggy, into the not unlocked and not used yet list. All right. Next up, we got the Incredibles. We got Mr. Incredible up first. Um, shoot. This might have to be a repeat uh character placement into this list because, like the other two, I briefly also seen what this character can do in terms of special ability and overall racing stats. So Mr. Incredible is unfortunately gonna have to be in the not unlocked or the have not used yet, list. All right, we got Miss Incredible now next. Um, her racing stats are, I believe, solid. They're not terrible. They're not great either. Her special ability, I don't like one of them, but I definitely love the other one. So it's neutral there. Uh, does she have potential to be higher on the list? Yes, without question. Currently, uh, I think for now, I'm gonna place Miss Incredible in this in the. I'll put her in the B tier list for now. Uh, where would I put her in the list? Uh, Ugh. Decisions. I think I'll put Miss Incredible, like, hmm. I'll put Miss Incredible ahead of Gaston, but just behind Olaf. I mean, like I mentioned beforehand, her special abilities, just in my personal opinion, are neutral. There's one I really like, and there's one I really don't like. And she definitely can hold her own in terms of racing stats, and she has potential to be higher on the list, no question. Currently, I'm going to place her in the B tier for now. All right, so we have Violet next. Uh, she does have a really interesting ability. I kind of got little mixed feelings about it and how it's used. She definitely doesn't have bad racing stats, mind you. She does have potential to go higher, maybe somewhere in the middle A tier list. So for right now, I'm going to put Violet in a B tier, and I'll place her. I think I'll place her ahead of Hortensia, but just behind Sadness. I think that's a good, decent spot for her. So next up, I have Dash, and he's also one of the few characters as of right now that I have at level 50. And I really love his racing stats. He's definitely got the speed. I do love his abilities too. So he's definitely going to be on the S tier list. In terms of where I actually place Dash, that's a whole other topic. Because I'm debating whether or not I want to put him high in the S tier or keep him somewhere in the middle of the S tier. That's the thing. Uh, hmm. I'm gonna place him ahead of Mulan, but just behind Dr. Finkelstein. I think if we're talking about like in terms of special ability wise, he's not. He's on par with the others. I'm not denying that he's on par with the others. It's mostly in terms of speed and acceleration is what I'm leaning towards. So Dash, I think that's a comfortable spot for him in the S tier. Last but not least, rounding up the Incredibles characters, we have Frozone next. I definitely love his unique ability, and unfortunately, it's more comfortable when you're using it in a straight shot rather than trying to use it in a sharp turn or turns in this case. His racing stats aren't terrible. They have potential to grow into him going a bit higher on the list, like an A tier. He's I'm definitely put I'm feeling B tier. I'm feeling B tier. I believe that's a good solid place for him as of right now. Now, where in the B tier I would place him at? Uh, hmm. Yeah, that's a tough question to answer. Uh, I'm. Mm, I'll go. I think I'll go like Frozone ahead of Buzz Lightyear, but just behind Dalma. Alright, so we got the Moana characters next. We got Maui first. I do I do like this character. I definitely, love his special abilities. Does have potential as being S tier. So currently I'm gonna place him in the A tier for now. Uh I think I'm gonna place him I, I don't see him being in a low A tier. I'm feeling mid, maybe high A tier. Uh, I'm gonna place Maui ahead of Ariel, but just behind King Triton. I think that seems to be a good, solid spot for him. All right, we got Moana next. Like Maui, I do love her racing, her special abilities. Excuse me. She does have really good racing stats. In the future, I definitely see her definitely be in the A tier, maybe in the high A tier. So as of now, I'm gonna place her in the B tier category, and I'm gonna place her. I'm trying to think here. I think she would be good if she was. Man, I think she's definitely a high B tier for now. I'm gonna place her like right ahead of Steamboat Mickey, but just behind Baloo. Right? I, no, that doesn't seem right to me. That doesn't seem right to me. Because I think, in terms of speed, I think Moana is faster than Baloo, even though Baloo is a slow starter, but he definitely does pick up speed real quick. But it, I think that's good. I think that's a good spot for Moana. Definitely close to being number one on the B tier. All right, I'm gonna wrap up the last four characters here before I end the video. So we'll be doing the Tron Legacy characters last. We'll start with Sam Flynn. I also have this as one of the few characters that I have at the max level. Definitely has really, really solid racing stats. I definitely love one of his racing special abilities. Uh, do I see him being a potential S tier once the new upgrade system kicks in and whatnot? Yes. As of right now, I'm gonna place him in the upper A tier list, and I'm gonna place him. Uh, shoot, where do I want to place him? I did say upper A tier. I'm thinking of. I'm thinking ahead of Elizabeth Swan and just behind Captain Jack Sparrow. Hmm. Hmm. No, actually, scratch that. I'm gonna place him actually ahead of Captain Jack Sparrow, but just behind Davy Jones. Yeah, yeah. That seems fair. That seems fair. All right. Next we have Quorra. I got mixed feelings of her special abilities. I'm just saying. If you've used them before and you can understand why. I just had I got mixed feelings of her unique abilities. She doesn't have bad racing stats, mind you. It's just her unique abilities. It's like not great, but it's not terrible either. So it's like, you know, you can love it or you can hate it. One or the other. Uh, Definitely potential to be like somewhere in the middle of the A tier list in the future. I can definitely see it. For now, I'm gonna place Quorra in the B tier category. Uh, I'm thinking of placing Quorra ahead of Randall. No, no, no. Uh, hmm. Shoot. Um, Crap. Oh, hmm. I think I'll place Quorra ahead of Violet, but just behind Sadness. Somewhere in the middle, just for now. Alright, next we have Rinzler. I definitely love one of his special abilities. The only downside of it is, depending on if other racers are going to interfere, they could, like, ruin that lickety split. Or you can just enjoy nice, glide through the track. In terms of stats, I mean, they're not terrible. They're not great, also. Uh, oh man, I definitely do see him being in the A tier. Mhm. I'm thinking B tier. I'm thinking B tier. I think I'll place him. Where do I want to place him? I think I'll place him ahead of Miss Incredible, but just behind Olaf. I think that I know it sounds a bit harsh, but I believe I put him in the right spot for the right reason. All right, last character rounding up the Tron Legacy cast, we have Zuse, not the Hercules Zeus, but the Tron Legacy Zeus. And definitely have him up there in the list. I feel like definitely up there. His special abilities, depending on where you're at on the track, can definitely benefit you in terms of speed and boost. So it definitely can help you. I'm definitely taking A tier, potential S for the future. Now, I'm feeling for Zeus, I'm feeling mid A tier. That's what I'm thinking of. It's just where exactly. Oh, this, yeah, ahead of King Triton, but just behind Anna. I think, yeah, that seems to be a pretty good spot for him. Oh, all right. Well, there it is. My updated Disney Speedstorm tier list. I know this will definitely be updated when the new season comes around, so there'll definitely be new characters added on as well as other things. But we'll try to tackle them on in a future video. But for now, here it is, my list. All right. Well, that'll be it for today's video. If you are new viewers, don't forget to hit that like button and hit that bell to be notified. And also subscribe to my channel, guys, so you guys don't miss out on these videos. I definitely want to get up to at least 50 to 100 subscribers, so maybe in the potential future I could, do a live stream so you guys can, watch me go live and, make these content videos that you guys love to watch. So that is my goal at the moment, but I do have bigger goals in the future laid down far along the line. So that will be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya.